It's honestly kind of embarrassing how many obvious guides I have missed over this past year. Like one on Beefalo, for example, and sure, we have discussed how to tame the furry beasts. However, not once have we just sat down to talk their spawning habits, specific loot even, mating season, etc. So, I guess it's time we fix that, yes? Yes, and to begin, we should mention where we will be finding these horny furballs. The various savanna biomes are where they roam and call home, for the most part that is, so head there if you are looking to join the herd. Beefs very rarely venture outside of the savannas, by the way, and really only do with player intervention, mind you. But actually, the herd may not be worthy of that name during the early stages of the game, as beefs will not be mated until spring, and many small separate herds may be present as well. But before we get into any of that more involved nonsense, let's just talk loot and how to safely secure it as soon as possible. And first things first, the poop. Beefalo very often drop a smelly loaf off while they shamble about. So if you need a quick and easy poop pick-me-up for farms and the like, then venturing into your herds now and then could prove very fruitful. Just make sure to wash your hands afterwards, you filthy animals. To continue, we can easily craft and thus use a razor to gain some coveted beefalo fur for our own use. But apparently, Clay went and made it so we can no longer shave beefalos in the morning hours, even if we wanted to, which is very odd and I have no idea when they did that. But it used to just lead to them being very pissed off at us and then you would have to run away. However, we can still wait until the cover of night to become the Beefalo Fur Bandit, as using a razor at this time will not anger them. So, there's that. You will get 3 total furs per shave, which honestly is not bad. And don't worry, even though our new friends will be waking up and moping around like sourpusses, their fur will regrow in but 3 days. Absolutely lovely. What ain't lovely, though, is the potential aftermath of attempting to murder one of these things near others. 'Cause you hit one, and the whole herd comes a-stomping. Again, you could just run and wait for aggro to drop, which happens pretty quickly overall, but especially during mating season. But there is a far better solution to the problem, and that's simply stuffing a grass or twig down one's gullet to get it to begin to follow you. And this is actually the beginnings of Beefalo Domestication. However, for our purpose today, it will be all about the potential murdering of an innocent creature. So get your beef far enough away, smack it across the noggin, kite it using about 5 hits after you dodge its hit, and repeating that, and eventually the beast will be slain. Beefalo drop 4 big meat, which is very handy, 3 of their furs, just like with the shaving, and have a 33% chance to drop a beefalo horn. So, let's break them down. Well, the important stuff, of course, because we should already bloody know what the meat is for. But beefalo fur goes into quite a lot, but for most of you out there, the crafted choice will be that of a winter hat. So it's better to shave beefs as soon as possible, because their fur will be keeping you warm come the approaching winter with a great deal of clothing, actually. But the winter hat has 120 points of insulation, which certainly puts it in the middle of the pack in terms of actual winter gear. However, a winter hat and a thermal stone are truly all you need to survive the cold. So, utilize your beefs before the big freeze. And enjoy a tiny sanity regen along the way. Alternatively, if you happen to get a horn or 2 through slaughter, you should absolutely invest in a beefalo hat. Requiring 8 beefalo fur and a horn, the winter noggin warmer has the max 240 40 insulation, some wetness resistance, and even a special mechanic related to Beefalo's mating seasons, which we'll talk about here very shortly. But Beefalo hat for the win should absolutely be a priority for most of you out there. Additionally though, if one has gone hunting during the falling of the white stuff and a winter koalefant has graced their presence, you can make a puffy vest with but 2 Beefalo furs. It too has an insulation factor of 240, which means a combination of the vest and Beefalo hat is one of the warmest combos of clothing there is across the entire game. So really, just pick your poison here, I guess, as they all have their pros and cons. Well, except for the Beefalo hat maybe, so just pick the Beefalo hat. Beefalo fur also goes into crafting the beautiful carpeted flooring, which is just always lovely looking turf for our bases. Carpeted flooring though is also needed to make personal end tables as well, so there are layers to Beefalo fur crafts. The fur also goes into 3 new fishing lures under the tackle receptacle, so if you're into all that crap then keep that in mind. Willow players will need additional fur to create additional Bernies if they wish, or when they just want to make a Build-A-Bear army of nightmares. And finally, Wort players must collect 15 furs to begin the ascension of a Mermy King. So plenty of crafts available for Beefalo fur, folks. But Beard, you missed the saddle. You right, friend, you right. Again though, we've already talked Beefalo domestication, so here's just some quick bits. As long as a Beefalo's hunger remains above 0, or if it's been ridden often, it will gain 0.1% domestication every 10 seconds. Otherwise, it would lose 0.52%. You can also brush your Beefalo to gain 1.7% domestication per brush. However, you can only do it once per day, but you do get a Beefalo fur, so there you go. And you can actually feed a Beefalo too much. So here is an adage to remember. When it toots, no more fruits. But domesticating beef is a long and grueling process, but simply taming them just enough to get some rides in is truly beneficial, as you will cover ground far faster and you'll be able to transport heavy loads much easier. So keep that in mind and good luck. However, it is time we talked mating season, and for Beefalos, that time comes around every spring. You'll know it when you see it, because their behinds will be as red as the blood splatter of their fallen brethren, but they will also rear up and cry out on occasion as well. Without a Beefalo hat, the herd will not like you getting so close, so be very careful out there. But as alluded to earlier, they actually de-aggro faster during mating season. But run off screen and return sometime later to find what all the fuss was about. New baby adorable new hair cows. Beefaloes actually have 4 stages of growth. Baby Beefalos here, the somewhat larger toddler Beefalos, the snotty teen Beefalos and all the trouble that comes with them, and of course, the adult Beefalos. But don't fret, it only takes about 3 to 5 days per stage, which is not bad at all. And the herd is growing. Speaking of herds, there is actually a hidden mechanic behind the various herds of beefs in this game, and it occurs every 5 seconds or so. I am not going to bore you with the specifics, because in the end, it really doesn't matter because the game takes care of it all. But herds can only have a maximum of 12 Beefalos to them. And every now and then, the game checks to see which herds need more or less beefs, essentially. So, Beefalos switch between herds all the time, and even break off to create new ones even without player intervention. Beefalos also have quote-unquote homes, in which they stay near and return to, and you can tell where they are come dusk as all the beasts begin to congregate in one single area. All that said, we can actually use our Beefalo horns from earlier to have up to 5 beefs and their potential babies follow us, and we can actually move them to entirely new locations to start entirely new herds. Very interesting. Oh, and remember that the horn can also de-aggroed aggroed beefs. Before we wrap, however, know that Beefalo can potentially be used to fend off dangers, but I would recommend keeping things closer to a hound level threat. However, if you do have tons of beefs and multiple herds, then I guess you could lead a few to some cold big bad slaughter. It is good loot, I must say. The point is, Beefalo could help take some heat off your back if you need it. Oh, and one last tip, if you do want to keep them penned in as pets, keep them fed, and build a salt lick to keep them busy. They will get fussy otherwise. If you do want any of the other domestication nonsense, you will just have to watch the other video, because it's way too much to get into right now. So, there you have it everyone. Beefalo. Some of the most important mobs across all of Don't Starve history. These furry, horny friends of the constant can serve us well in life and in death. So, shave up, tame up, and have fun out there. Thanks for watching, folks. Well wishes to all, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.